A voter went into the polling booth and was given a pre-marked ballot for Mitt Romney and for Lee Terry. We've had a report of another one. We've had reports of other issues. We just want to urge all of the voters, be careful, be vigilant, get out there. There are probably going to be long lines.
Dr. Sweet, we're hearing about potential voter fraud in Nebraska. Does that perhaps give validity to Pennsylvania's voter ID law down the road? I mean, it wasn't instituted in this year's election. Could that perhaps, require or give some, ammunition to those in Pennsylvania who want a voter ID law in the state?
Well, I think these reports of voter fraud in Nebraska are just too recent to really see how legitimate they are. But certainly anytime you have any sort of evidence or allegations of voter fraud, that's certainly going to be ammunition for those who argue for voter ID. But I think we don't want to jump to conclusions. We probably want to see what's going on in Nebraska first.
Still too early to tell, you think?
that's
I mean, there are allegations at this point, but you never know.
Yeah.
And Dr. Sweet, looking at that, really a lot of the outcry about the Pennsylvania law was it was unconstitutional either under Pennsylvania Constitution or the United States Constitution. In your opinion, really, from what you know of it, is it unconstitutional to require someone to show some form of government photo ID when they come back to come to vote?
Well, I think actually what the Pennsylvania courts said was that it wasn't unconstitutional. What the problem, though, is it was rolled out too fast. This law was just passed, last spring, and have it implemented for this election was just too fast. It did not give adequate time for people to get their photo IDs. And so I think my take on what the court had to say, the Commonwealth Court, was that the law wasn't necessarily unconstitutional. It's just that it could not be implemented in a way that would be fair at this time.
We take a look also the Florida Senate race has been one of the key Senate races here tonight. We got word that Bill Nelson, the Democrat, has defeated Connie Mack, the fourth. He's the Republican challenger or the Republican in this race. Give us your thoughts here on some of these other Senate races tonight, Dr. Sweet. Of course, the race in Florida and perhaps the race in Missouri. Give us your thoughts on that Todd Akin, Claire McCaskill race.
Well, I'm not surprised Nelson got reelected. Again, he's a popular senator down there, and pushing an incumbent out is always difficult. The Missouri case, I think that certainly Akin would have had a very good chance to take that seat. But, of course, we know he had that big gaffe. And so I think that's going to cause him a lot of trouble there in Missouri. So that should have been a seat that the Republicans picked up. They may not get it because of that gaffe.
And Dr. Sweet, on that, Claire McCaskill obviously have some people really, is claiming she's alienated her delegates and her constituents. What really can be the repercussions for, and this is not congressmen and women and senators in races, but what can be the repercussions for the other senator from Missouri if these accusations of alienation come in again if Claire McCaskill was reelected?
Well, I think she had some popularity problems. I don't know about the idea of alienation. I think certainly she was not popular, and so that's why I think the Republicans were looking for that to be an easy pickup. But again, when Akin sort of made that gaffe, I think that sort of changed the dynamics of that race. And so I think that's what's going to, if Akin does not win, I think it's all going to go back to that gaffe.
We talked about a little bit earlier with Jill, and we talked about some of the results we're getting in tonight, Dr. Sweet, of course. 153 split at one point here in the Electoral College. Could we? I don't want to keep bringing it up. I told John Owens not to. It's been his little topic of choice here throughout the last week. But it is a dead heat right now. We're looking at a tie in the Electoral College. Only 700,000 votes separating President Obama and Governor Romney in the popular vote at last check. Give us your thoughts on the rest of the night.
Well, I think everyone predicted it was going to be a close election. There's a model that I like that a political scientist at Emory University does. Abramowitz is his name, and he predicted some time ago that President Obama would win re-election with 50.5% of the vote. And so we're looking at a very, very close election. As an academic, I'm intrigued by the 269. I think it'd be a great civics lesson. It might be the end of the electoral. Well, I had predicted that if we ever had a situation where the winner of the popular vote would lose the Electoral College, we might eventually change but that happened in 2000, and we didn't get a change. So maybe even a 269 would not be the end of the Electoral College.
It's tough to tell, and
Yeah.
a lot of people, are upset with the Electoral College in one way or another. This could be the end of the line, perhaps. You never know. But we're at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to head to our next break. A lot of states already wrapped up, but a few more closing, including a battleground state in Nevada and another one in Iowa. Of course, we'll take a look at some of those early exit polls and some of the actual results still coming in from those early states tonight. Stay tuned. You're listening and watching to America Votes 2012 on CUTV and WCUC.
So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
That's low. That's low and below. Look, he's blushing. Seriously. Okay.
Can't find your one-of-a-kind ingredient? Looking to challenge your appetite with exotic flavor? Your search ends at 6 & Main's unique array of groceries and ingredients. Specializing in the not-so-widely available, 6 & Main is Clarion's supplier of the striking tastes that shape a stylish palate. With their varied styles and unmatched selection, 6 & Main has got the taste you have only dreamt about. Let your taste run wild at 6 & Main.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC, everybody. Matt Knoedler here. I'm here. We have so much to talk about. Late breaking news here. Taking a look at the Electoral College and the popular vote in the presidential race. It has been just changing all night here, getting a lot of new information. And right now we have President Obama leading Governor Romney in the Electoral College 172 to 162, and a 1 million vote split in the popular vote going to Governor Romney right now. John Owens, Thomas McConnell, and Greg Jacobs here with me now. John, you have more on the split in the popular vote and the actual Electoral College and a few states as well.
All right, yes, if you look at the popular vote right now, 24,061,000 for Governor Romney, 23,146,000 for the president in this one. So obviously Governor Romney leads in the popular vote, something that a lot of people were expecting in this election. However, it's the president right now who leads in the Electoral College, and some of those avenues to get to 370 for Governor Romney are beginning to go away. You look at some key states that are very influential in this election right now. In North Carolina, you have a lead for Mitt Romney, 51 to 48%, with 78 of the precincts reporting. In Ohio, Obama leads 52 to 46, with 40% of the precincts in, so still a lot to come in Ohio. Florida, Obama leads 50 to 49. That one is a dead heat. You could see a recount in Florida like we saw in 2000. That could be a deciding factor in this election, Matt. And in Virginia, Mitt Romney leads by about 4%, 51 to 47, with 57% of the precincts reporting in. So this one's a dead heat. That's how it's looking like nationally.
It could be a very long night in some of these states, and we're going to take it. Well, we'll go to Greg here. Greg, give us some of the numbers you're writing down here. We're taking a look at a lot of some of these states we talked about before. Some of these states closing, a couple of battleground states, Iowa, Colorado closing here at 10 o'clock Eastern time anyway, 8 o'clock in Colorado, and 9 in Iowa. Greg, give us some of the numbers you have.
Okay. I just looked at Colorado. Colorado's an important state this election too. 50% of people reported. Obama has 51%. Romney has 48%. Obama is up 3%. Like John just said, Montana, Wyoming, and Utah was just won by Romney. And also, Donnelly defeated Murdoch in Indiana for a Senate seat. So that is also a very important Senate seat to lose.
And we have heard so many times, but a lot of controversies regarding. We've heard rape be a huge controversy here between a number of candidates. Richard Murdoch being one of those, and you say you just lost. That's what we're hearing in Indiana.
Yes. Murdoch lost.
Richard Murdoch losing in Indiana in that Senate race. Thomas, give us some of the numbers you're seeing tonight.
Well, I was just looking at Ohio because I know, because everyone knows that everyone's looking at Ohio tonight.
It's a very crucial state.
And all of the different counties in Ohio are reporting except Fairfield and Hawking counties.
Do we have numbers on Hamilton and Cuyahoga yet?
I'm sure we do, but I'm not sure where they are.
We'll gather those in just a moment.
But I know that these two here might be the deciding factors in the race in Ohio. Obama is ahead by a small margin, but it's all going to come down to those few counties that are left. And also, the way it looks like it's going now, I mean, it looks like Mitt's going to have to run the table with Florida, Virginia, North Carolina, Ohio, and either Iowa or Colorado to pull in his electoral votes that he needs to win. So it's a pretty steep cliff that he has to climb. But I mean, it's still definitely possible with all of these races still so close. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
And going off of what you just said, Virginia right now, 64% of the votes have been reported, and Romney's in the lead with 51% of those votes. So it is looking in Romney's favor as of right now with 64% reported for Virginia.
John Owen's with us as well. And John, you have some numbers on Pennsylvania races. Give us what you have.
Yes, do have some numbers on some Pennsylvania races. The latest report in the Attorney General race in Pennsylvania, Kathleen Kane leads David Freed 64 to 34%, with 34% of the precincts reporting. The Auditor General race, it's Deepa Squally over Mayor right now, 58 to 38%, with 30% of the precincts reporting. And the State Treasurer race, McCord with the lead, 61% to 36%, with 30% of the precincts reporting. So a lot of these statewide offices leaning Democrat in Pennsylvania right now, Matt. And just to touch back on the presidential election, as we're talking about it, the 269-269 tie scenario could fall into place here because the way these states are falling, the possibility remains on the table. We'll have to see.
And you never know exactly how things are going to shape up, but we're starting to see in Pennsylvania anyway things going Democratic tonight. President Obama winning this state, Bob Casey winning re-election, the state races, as John just mentioned, a lot of them going Democratic. In terms of Governor Romney, guys, our last point here real quick, do you guys see him taking a lot of those eastern states? Thomas mentioned Florida, Virginia and North Carolina really need to go his way. Let's go around the table real quick. Greg, do you see that happening?
I see it happening. I think it's going to be very, very, very close, but I do see it happening. I think that college students have a big part in that too. As of right now, under Obama, 50% of people graduating from college aren't getting a degree or aren't getting a job that even required a college degree, and a lot of college students are using that to sway their vote. So I think that Romney does have the lead, or will come out on top, but it's going to be very, very close.
A lot of these exit polls, Thomas, in Florida, some of the polls leading up early this morning, late yesterday, still had Governor Romney going Florida going his way, what do you see happening in North Carolina, Florida, and Virginia tonight?
I see Romney taking Virginia and North Carolina because he is in the lead there, and especially with Virginia, with some of the coal that's been going on there. I know they still have a little bit. I mean, they still have some coal industry there, but I cannot say. Cannot make an opinion on Florida right now. They're within the latest numbers that I see, 20,000 votes dividing the two candidates. So it's all going to come down on how precisely the panhandle goes, I think. So that's going to be interesting to see. But I do think that Virginia and North Carolina will go red.
What do you think, John? You think it's going to go red as well, or perhaps does President Obama have some sort of advantage in that state, given Virginia, Florida, and North Carolina?
I think right now that Virginia will go in Governor Romney's favor. I think he'll also carry North Carolina, but that doesn't put him over the top, Matt. He also needs to pick up Florida, and that's a very close race. It's something we're going to have to watch throughout the night. And even if he does pick up North Carolina, Virginia, and Florida, it doesn't put it away.
No,
so there's other things he needs to pay attention to. You have to look to Colorado, you have to look to Nevada, you have to look to Iowa. This one's getting close, and apparently Missouri has now gone the way of Governor Romney now too. So this one is neck and neck, but with Pennsylvania now off the board, with New Hampshire off the board, with Wisconsin off the board, it makes it a little bit more difficult for Governor Romney moving ahead. He still has a chance to win this election, but the odds are in favor of the president right now.
So we're seeing some mixed reports here from different states tonight. We'll have more coming up. Mike Friend with his team of analysts here coming up. We'll have more on these key races coming in, including, as we mentioned, Colorado and Nevada just closing at 10. They'll have more on those races and other key races coming up. Stay tuned.
The first day stepping on the court, I couldn't keep up. That motivated me to step up my game. When I reach a goal, I set a new one the next day. And my next goal is to go to college. Mastering the court takes persistence. So does getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Do you like this top? So gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Longing for a unique taste and a relaxed atmosphere? Look no further than 6th and Main Market in downtown Clarion. With a menu to satisfy a chic palate, 6th and Main has a taste of the Strip District without the long drive home. Accompanying the food is a complement of gourmet sodas and ice creams, a fully stocked deli, delicious breads, and delectable desserts. 6th and Main offers dine-in service with a relaxed atmosphere, which will leave a distinct impression.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
All right, folks, welcome back to America Votes 2012. Mike Friend here with you. I've got my team of analysts ready to go again. Dylan Christofek, Aaron Kratozinski, and Nick Rawson. We have some late updates here. Missouri just being sent to Governor Mitt Romney. That ties the Electoral College now 172 votes apiece for the president and the former governor of the state of Massachusetts. Really, Dylan, again, like I said, we keep bringing it up, and I sound like a broken record here. We're inching closer to that 269 mark. What's going to happen? Do you think really Gary Johnson or a third-party candidate could come in here and play spoiler somewhere?
I think that there's a chance that it could play spoiler in certain respects, but I think it's more going to be on like the popular vote kind of side.
Definitely not.
I don't see Gary Johnson or Jill Stein, coming in and capturing electoral votes. It's just not going to happen. But at the same time, there are places like Nevada where Gary Johnson actually polls more from Obama than he does from Romney. I mean, Jill Stein's mostly had most of her success up in the Northeast, and I don't see her pulling enough votes away from Barack Obama to really play spoiler in the Northeast, which is very solidly blue. But there's a couple of states where Gary Johnson polls pretty strongly, or for a third-party candidate, anyways, and it might send some states in ways that we were not expecting and shift, really play up this electoral vote, though not 269. That's not happening.
Aaron, what we've seen so far, we've really seen states going as really all the polls have predicted them. Nate Silver up, the New York Post, Politico, CNN, the big names really, and how we of CUTV here have called them. Do you see a state that hasn't been called yet, like Oregon or California? Not really, but maybe Arizona switching, colors really. Arizona traditionally, more of a red state, as I've seen, but do you see a state really coming up and kind of flipping the odds and kind of breaking this deadlock?
I don't really think so. Like you said, Arizona is a big red state, and I saw it on the convention. They played a lot up on the Hispanic vote, so I feel like they've got a strong hold, and California's been blue for the longest time. I don't think there's really anything different to expect. I mean, it's just going to be the swing states like Ohio and Florida that are really close. That's going to be hard to say.
All right, Nick, Aaron kind of hinted at it here. Really, with the Hispanic vote, really in 2008 played well for President Obama. Really, the Hispanic vote right now is playing into the early voting. A lot of states, like Arizona and Nevada, strong Hispanic vote playing into the early voting category. So do you see the Hispanic vote swinging one way or another for a candidate?
Oh, absolutely. The Hispanic vote, any minority vote right now, is absolutely in Obama's corner. There's no doubt about that. And anybody that would disagree with that, I don't even know what argument I could have other than look at it, because there's never been a case in this election where I have thought to myself, that Mitt Romney guy, he's going to win the Hispanic vote. That's never happened. He's gone out, he's tried to make the reach out the olive branch, and really Obama's shown that he's going to stand up for equal rights to citizens, women's rights, minority rights, and that minorities see that, and they're going to respond.
And guys, we're going to get into more of the early voting here. Really, the early voting, I mentioned states out west, but states like New Jersey, New York, and some more of the megalopolis there from Baltimore up to Boston, really. A lot of those states where people were very compact, may have to wait in long lines to vote because there were not that many precincts in their area. Obviously, areas of New Jersey, New York being affected more recently by the weather, Hurricane Sandy wiping out a lot of this place. What do you see that affecting really anything in this race? Do you feel it's going to be likely that people aren't going to turn out today that might have turned out earlier if the storm hadn't affected that? And Dylan?
I'm going to say absolutely that people have priorities. First priority is securing yourself, your home, a food source, water, making sure you have access to sanitation, place to sleep. Those are the people's first priorities. And right now, people are having a little bit of a tough time getting it out there. But on the other hand, you do look at the states that it did affect. It affected New Jersey, blue. New York, blue. It affected very blue states, and that while I feel that it will have maybe a negative impact on the popular vote for President Barack Obama,
it's going to bear next to nothing on the electoral vote because it's not like those are states that split their electoral college votes, so that's not even a factor. It's just those states are going to go blue. We all know they're going blue, and so it's more of an popular vote thing than an electoral college thing.
And Aaron, really reports coming in that's saying when the storm hit, a lot of these states are trying to implement some sort of online voting. Do you think that would increase voter fraud? I mean, obviously, you still would have to, like an absentee ballot, fill in your either social security number, driver's license number, but do you think some sort of online voting really will affect the early voting in maybe this election, in the storm-ravaged areas, or come to the future?
I don't think so. I think that the online voting is a good thing. There's not a lot of cases of voter fraud now, even in absentee votings where you don't see, like you don't go in person and vote. I know there's a couple foreign countries that do online voting and they haven't had an issue. So if we kind of transition into this online voting, it might be good for this kind of, our society has becoming more technology based.
All right, folks, we're going to send it to our next commercial break. Next, we have some of the latest breakdowns and winners here in this really tight electoral race. Like I said, numbers still looking at 172, 172. Really keep it here on election night coverage. America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and at 91.7 WCUC-FM, The Clutch.
So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay. Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
That's low. That's low and below. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
Can't find your one-of-a-kind ingredient? Looking to challenge your appetite with exotic flavor? Your search ends at 6th and Main's unique array of groceries and ingredients. Specializing in the not-so-widely available, 6th and Main is Clarion's supplier of the striking tastes that shape a stylish palate. With their varied styles and unmatched selection, 6th and Main has got the taste you have only dreamt about. Let your taste run wild at 6th and Main.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
And welcome back to America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC 91.7 FM. Everybody, Matt Knoedler here, Mike Friend joining me, and Mike, we're taking a look at a lot of different states here, getting some more numbers coming in here tonight. Right now we have Arizona.
Oh,
and,
definitely. We're taking a look here as, really we mentioned in the last block, Matt, Aaron and I and my team mentioned Mitt Romney really winning this red state here. President Obama garnering 44%, nothing big there. Surprising, always a traditional red state. In 2008, President Obama's opponent back then, Senator John McCain from the state of Arizona. So really, the state with garnering 54%, an older population out there. The older population, according to Gallup, about 50 and older, really gearing for Mitt Romney. Taking a look now, we have Kansas and Barack Obama projected winner out there. Really, Kansas, Midwestern state, doesn't always necessarily go for the red candidate.
Sort of interesting to see them go for President Obama tonight.
Oh, definitely. Taking a look at Louisiana, Mitt Romney, again, projected the winner here. That's, again, Deep South state, 63% of the vote. Really not surprised that he almost doubles up President Obama here. As we're taking a look right now at Maryland, President Obama sweeping this, and Matt will take go ahead and take a look at that.
We take a look at Maryland, exactly what we're seeing here. 76% for the president. Not a huge surprise. Maryland, one of those states in the Mid-Atlantic that tends to go Democratic at some points. We take a look at Michigan coming up next. Some people say this was a tight race. It depends on exactly what polls you're looking at. President Obama, 53%. He is the projected winner tonight in Michigan. Again, 47% for Mitt Romney. We take a look at Minnesota, another state here that was, considered a toss-up at times, but ended up going for Mitt Romney tonight. 50% for Governor Romney and 49% for President Obama. Most of the precincts reporting on that one, Mike.
And the thing is with that, again, presidential candidate in the primaries, Michelle Bachmann from the state of Minnesota. So really, President Obama really kind of had a lot of people up there. Nebraska, right now, we're taking a look at Mitt Romney winning again, Midwestern state. A lot of agriculture. The agricultural community has a tendency to vote for the Republican candidate just on
We're talking about that voter fraud in Nebraska. We'll keep on top of that here for you tonight.
And right now we're taking a look at New Jersey. New Jersey, again, a really storm-ravaged area. It doesn't, as Dylan mentioned, not necessarily affecting the electoral vote, but really affecting the popular vote right now. Taking a look at New Mexico, we have President Obama. It's a projected winner there at 55%. So Matt, really New Mexico, sort of a surpriser, a toss-up state a lot of people didn't expect.
And Gary Johnson, I just got some late word in our with the fact checkers that Gary Johnson, of course, he's the former governor there. You think he would have some sort of poll? He was on the ballot, the Libertarian candidate. He received only last check 3%, and so he's not even a huge factor in that race. So President Obama, it's not like he stole any votes, or President Obama stole any votes from Gary Johnson. He just didn't really have a chance.
And Gary Johnson, folks, we've alluded to this a lot, not really going to affect as much as the electoral race as a lot of people thought. Maybe still some popular votes for President Obama or Governor Romney, really. So it's still tight here in New Mexico.
What we're thinking right now, we have a couple of new numbers in here. Again, we'll get those to you coming up regarding the Electoral College, and the popular vote is still very, very tight. We're going to head to our next break here. Coming up next, we have CUTV reporter and WCUC News Director Jasmine Glanton coming up. She's going to talk about how the female vote and the Hispanic vote have played a role in this election. Stay tuned.
The first day stepping on the court, I couldn't keep up. That motivated me to step up my game. When I reach a goal, I set a new one the next day. And my next goal is to go to college. Mastering the court takes persistence. So does getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Longing for a unique taste and a relaxed atmosphere? Look no further than 6th and Main Market in downtown Clarion. With a menu to satisfy a chic palate, 6th and Main has a taste of the Strip District without the long drive home. Accompanying the food is a complement of gourmet sodas and ice creams, a fully stocked deli, delicious breads, and delectable desserts. 6th and Main offers dine-in service with a relaxed atmosphere, which will leave a distinct impression.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
And welcome back to America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC 91.7 FM, everybody. I'm Matt Knoedler, Mike Friend joining us as well. And joining us now here for the first time tonight, CUTV reporter and WCUC News Director Jasmine Glanton. Jasmine, thanks for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Jasmine, we take a look at some of the demographics here tonight. We've taken a look at a variety of polls and results, and the demographics tend to make those results and polls really more of what's behind those numbers. And what do you have some of the numbers here tonight?
Right. Some of the numbers that I have here tonight for the Democratic men, we have them coming in at 45%. We have a lot more men voting for Republican, which is 53%, and we have women voting for 54% and a 44% for Republican. So we have more men voting Republican and more women voting for Democrat, and it's which usually goes on.
Yeah, that's what we I would say what we expected to see really coming into tonight.
Thanks, Matt. This 2012 presidential election has just about everyone on the edge of their seats, both men and women. The question is that everyone is asking, who will be the next president of the United States, Obama or Mitt Romney? Who will take over the White House? I got a chance to see how the voting was in Pittsburgh today. Let's take a look at this.
We are over 250. And at this point, that's quite a few people, because normally in a normal, when I don't mean normal election, but in a non-presidential election, we wouldn't reach this point until well after 4 or 5 o'clock. So we feel that the turnout is significant. Last I checked, I think we were at 254. So that's quite a few.
Why do you? Women's suffrage is the right for the women to vote and run for office. Limited voting rights were granted to the women in Sweden, Britain, Finland, and some Western United States of the 19th century. It is two activists that reformed nearly 100 years to win the right, and the campaign was not that easy. Guys, if you want to take it, the female vote is extremely important in this election. I want to stress that. Obama came in, approval among the Hispanics are at 66% in the preliminary results, while 32% disapprove among the voters. 52% approved of the vote for Obama for job has done a good job, and about 46% disapproved of saying Obama hasn't done a good job this far.
It's interesting to see exactly how some of these numbers are shaping up throughout the night, not just in Pittsburgh like the folks you talked to, but really around the country as well. So like you say, the women tend to vote more Democratic. A lot of men, especially we've seen in Western Pennsylvania, typically voting conservatively, going with Republicans.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
All right, sure thing, Jasmine. We're going to go to break here. Coming up, we have Jill Hartman back. She's going to talk to us about some of the ongoing social media updates here on Twitter, Facebook, and we'll come back as well. Mike Friend will be giving you some updates here on some of the updated results. Stay tuned.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're gonna be hanging out a little bit more.
Yo, check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those hands.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, and this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence. On lève bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou, ton
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
At Sheetz, your favorite meal on the go is just a touch away. The MTO, or made-to-order menu, is the perfect way to quickly get food that will satisfy any craving. Don't worry about trying to decide which fast food restaurant will satisfy your taste. Sheetz' wide variety of choices and simple ordering system makes the decision easy. For those especially hectic days when time is at a premium, Sheetz also offers the MTO to-go case with quick grabs. Sheetz is conveniently located at 1281 East Main Street in Clarion.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
How's your test
Welcome back
going?
to America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC 91.7 FM. Matt Knoedler here, Jillian Hartman, and Britt C. Hall. Ladies, thanks for joining us here. And we got some new numbers in real quick before we get to the social media update here real quick. We have word from John Owens. He says that Kathleen Kane is projected to win Attorney General here tonight. And so, any new numbers, John, before we continue with this, or no new numbers at this time for Kathleen Kane? But she is the first Democrat and the first woman elected Attorney General here in Pennsylvania. And so a couple other states, we talked about Florida, North Carolina, and Virginia earlier in the presidential race. All of these races are within 3 points. It's very, very tight. And so, guys, we'll be following that throughout the night. But, Jill, you have some news here on perhaps another type of some sort of voter fraud. It's showing up as President Obama or Governor Romney in different buttons, whichever you click here at the polls.
Well, on Twitter, there's a trend going on that CNN has shown footage of voting machines where people are pressing Obama, but it's checking Romney. And there's actual footage of this happening, and a lot of Obama supporters are very upset. Although Obama seems to be winning Pennsylvania, and that has occurred in Pennsylvania, a lot of Obama supporters are asking, does Romney's family own these voting machines? I mean, they're just really upset about this.
Are there any conspiracy theories with this as of now, or is it just people thinking there's a glitch in the system?
I mean, there is a lot of opinions based off of this. It could be a glitch in the system, so we really have no idea yet.
Britt, give us your thoughts on some of the numbers we're seeing here tonight. Very, very tight race in Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida. And give us your thoughts here on this perhaps glitch in the system.
You know, I think this could be a huge issue. I mean, is there any way to tell if Pennsylvania is the only state that's experiencing this glitch? Is it just a glitch? Or, I don't know, if this is occurring in multiple states, there's probably going to be a huge issue here.
And if Romney wins president, I think a lot of people are going to argue that he won because of these glitches in these voting machines.
There are going to be huge discrepancies if this is seen not only in Pennsylvania, and I wonder how it is seen.
Well, there's actual footage taken of someone actually pressing on the machine, and
what states are we seeing this in particularly? Is it?
Well, all I know of right now for certain is Pennsylvania.
Okay.
CNN did not show.
I didn't know if there were any states that still weren't confirmed yet. And
I'm sure it is in other states, but I don't want to say any for certain.
Because Pennsylvania, of course, has gone to President Obama earlier this evening, and I was curious if there were any states that were still up for grabs, and this was
actually tonight the most tweeted about state is Ohio right now. So a lot of people are trying to see who's going to win the swing state.
It'll be interesting to see exactly how that happens. Britt, we talked about really how close Ohio can be. Do you think it's important for the winner to basically come from Ohio? Ohio has predicted the winner since 1964. Do you think it's going to happen again?
Yeah, I mean, if that trend is probably going to continue, with Ohio being debatably what seals the deal here. So it'll be interesting to see who takes that over.
Ohio, a huge key toss-up state. So we'll keep track on exactly how Ohio is faring tonight, and exactly those states in the South, Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida, exactly how all those will shape up. But again, we're going to go to Mike Friend here. Mike has some information regarding some of these new numbers in some of the western states that are getting results in tonight, and a few other races. Mike? All right, some difficulties upstairs real quick, waiting on some of the numbers to come in here for Mike real quick. But guys, real quick before we do go to Mike, again, give us your thoughts here on Kathleen Kane winning Attorney General, the first woman, the first Democrat to win that position. Give us your thoughts.
I mean, it's definitely exciting. It's something that we've never seen before. So.
I honestly didn't know that. John had to tell me that she was the first Democrat to hold that position, and it's a very, like I say, kind of an exciting moment to see that happen. We're happy to break that. We're going to go to Mike now. We have everything ready, so we'll go to Mike here with some results.
All right, thank you, Matt. Folks, we got our latest electoral count, 174 to 163, the 174 to President Obama. So here right now we have our battleground state of Colorado here, and Colorado's really, again, a toss-up state. Some big electoral votes out west, really looking to go for President Obama, and it does here. Taking a look at our numbers here, President Obama, 53% of the vote is the projected winner. Governor Romney, 45% of the vote, state voted Democrat in the last election and continues to stay Democrat here, folks. So no big surprise in Colorado. It's a big win for the president in this toss-up state. Taking a look at the battleground state of New Hampshire, no surprise there as President Obama wins 55%. Some people thought Mitt Romney may contend better, but as we see, 44%, the 11% loss here. Really not much for New Hampshire's supposed favorite son here. If we take a look at PA, we talked about earlier, 59% of the vote went to President Obama as opposed to 40 here. That's most of our precincts in the state right here. And again, really a bastion of democracy here in the Democratic Party, Pennsylvania here. So really, folks, we really have battleground Wisconsin. Mitt Romney is our projected winner here. We may have said earlier that President Obama took state, but our reports show most precincts saying 57% have voted for Mitt Romney. So Matt, taking a look at our news desk here, what do you, Jill, and Britt have really on these battleground states for us?
Well, again, it's interesting, Mike, we'll retract that real quick, that Wisconsin went to Mitt Romney. Again, 57% right now is what we're hearing. We'll get you some more updated numbers on that as they become available. But again, guys, and this makes a little more sense. I was a little shocked myself when I first heard Wisconsin going to the president, but again, Paul Ryan, the native son on this GOP ticket, that comes as no surprise that it went to Wisconsin. So I was a little shocked earlier, but any thoughts on really Paul Ryan, his state, going for Governor Romney?
Doesn't surprise me
I say
all that much.
Shouldn't be a huge surprise, but we do have a couple numbers here we'll give you before we go to break. We take a look at the numbers from the Kathleen Kane race here for Attorney General. She won 39% in that race, 2% of course for other candidates, write-ins, etc. In the state treasurer race, we have Rob McCord. He has been reelected state treasurer, 55% to 41% over Diana Ari-Vaughn. She has been defeated again by McCord, 55 to 41. So we're going to move on. We're going to head to our next break. On the other side, we're going to talk to Clarion University communication professor Jim Lyle. He's also the debate coach here, and we'll get his thoughts on exactly what some of these candidates did perhaps wrong during the debates. We're seeing some of these races come down in the battleground states to the wire. We'll talk about that as well. So stay tuned. We'll have more coming up on America Votes 2012.
The first day stepping on the court, I couldn't keep up. That motivated me to step up my game. When I reach a goal, I set a new one the next day. And my next goal is to go to college. Mastering the court takes persistence. So does getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Do you like this top? So gay.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Longing for a unique taste and a relaxed atmosphere? Look no further than 6th and Main Market in downtown Clarion. With a menu to satisfy a chic palate, 6th and Main has a taste of the Strip District without the long drive home. Accompanying the food is a complement of gourmet sodas and ice creams, a fully stocked deli, delicious breads, and delectable desserts. 6th and Main offers dine-in service with a relaxed atmosphere, which will leave a distinct impression.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Welcome back to America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC 91.7 FM, everybody. Matt Knoedler here, Mike Friend. We're joined now by Clarion University communication professor, Mr. Jim Lyle, excuse me. Jim, thanks for joining us tonight. We take a look at some new numbers in. We're just getting in. The Electoral College right now, 174, 173 in favor of Mitt Romney. Give us your thoughts on this. It's a very close race. Again, one vote away, or one electoral vote away, the difference right now. Give us your thoughts.
Well, at this point, I don't think there's really been anything that has been shocking in terms of the way that the race has gone. So the fact that it's 174 to 173 is not of any significance until you get the Floridas and the Ohios, the Virginia, Iowa sort of type results, because other than New Hampshire and a couple other results, the swing states are yet to be in.
We'll take a look at, real quick before we go on to some of the other results for the night, we take a look at the debates. You're the debate coach. Is there anything that you thought should have happened in those debates that neither candidate did? Was there a certain message they didn't send, or a certain way they didn't deliver their message? What do you think?
I thought that Romney did exactly what he should have done, which was get back to the middle on a lot of issues. There's a question of whether or not he did that early enough in the race, or not, to sort of deal with some of the issues that he had, and stances he had taken during the primaries. The other thing was that, clearly there was an issue in debate number 1 with Obama. I think if Obama shows up ready to play during that first debate, we're probably talking about a landslide election, but that did not occur. He came back and technically won the second and third debates. I don't know how much it did for him in terms of momentum. Probably just sort of slowed the bleeding or stopped it. But as it looks like, it's probably enough to sort of carry him through.
And again, you've seen plenty of debates in your time, obviously, Jim. In these debates, what did you notice that President Obama did so much better? Again, like you mentioned, the sluggish performance from the first debate to the second. What did you notice he did in the second debate that really assured him that win? Because a lot of people said that was his biggest win in the 3 of the debates.
Well, the thing that happened in the second debate was it was a less controlled environment. And I think that the president looked more comfortable in that debate than the governor did. And the consequence of that manifested itself clearly in the Libya question, the way that it played itself out. It was a huge opportunity for the governor. He didn't really capitalize on it. Obama was able to sort of, really make Mitt Romney look bad in that moment. And, I think that just in that debate as well, Mitt Romney kind of had this overly aggressive, sort of arrogant sort of feel to him that a lot of people just sort of were not comfortable with. And the consequence of that was that he probably lost a little bit of what he was gaining after debate number 1. But beyond that, there wasn't that much, of interest. I was surprised that in the debates that, the president didn't sort of play up some of the you're rich and can't relate to the average voter sort of thing that we were expecting to see. I was surprised that there weren't as much in the way of attacks on, the health care proposal as I thought there would be as well. But
we take a look at some of the other the congressional races tonight. Not much of a surprise around here that Glenn Thompson and Mike Kelly doing very well in this county. Give us your thoughts, though, really on, we talked about Pennsylvania's 12th congressional district between Mark Criss and Keith Rothfuss. Give us a little insight on that. It was take a look at it. It was a 3,000 vote difference earlier in the night, 50,000 votes going towards Mark Criss. Explain how big of a race this is really for the state.
I don't know that how big of a race it is in terms of, what the outcome is going to be, given that we have this split political system that I think is going to sort of limit what's able to sort of be accomplished. The fact of the matter is that the House is going to continue to be Republican. So that's not going to change. I think that I haven't seen anything updated yet that indicates that the Senate has gone one way or another. My guess is that the Democrats are going to sort of keep the Senate. And so, regardless of whether you get, President Romney or President Obama at the end of the day, it's still divided government. It's still going to be a situation where not much is going to be able to be accomplished, given the fact that the Senate is not going to be a 60-vote majority for whichever party holds, if they hold everything else.
And obviously, being a professor on campus, what have you noticed the general consensus of your students? Do they seem enthused? And if so, what candidate, presidential and other candidates, do they seem most enthused about?
Well, I mean, the only real race that I think you see enthusiasm for, and I'm sure it's not true only of Clarion, but most institutions, is the presidential race. Largely because a number of the students here aren't local to Clarion County, and so the races that are going on here aren't just of importance to them, but lower level races, even Senate races, just generally don't have the appeal to the college age voter. And so clearly the interest is in the presidential election. I think I've seen a pretty clear split in terms of people that are very enthused about President Obama and a very strong number of people that are excited about Governor Romney. But nothing has stood out that said, the consensus leans one way or another.
All right, well, we're going to head to our next break here on America Votes 2012. Coming up, we'll have the top of the hour results and updates on some of the key battleground states. Stay tuned.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Yo, check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those pants.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, and this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Danse, balance suis la cadence. On lève bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou, ton
You didn't give up on sex? Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
At Sheetz, your favorite meal on the go is just a touch away. The MTO, or made-to-order menu, is the perfect way to quickly get food that will satisfy any craving. Don't worry about trying to decide which fast food restaurant will satisfy your taste. Sheet's wide variety of choices and simple ordering system makes the decision easy. For those especially hectic days when time is at a premium, Sheetz also offers the MTO to-go case with quick grabs. Sheetz is conveniently located at 1281 East Main Street in Clarion.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Welcome back to America Votes 2012, everybody. I'm Matt Knoedler. We are down to our final hour here with you tonight on CUTV and WCUC. We are getting some new numbers in here in the presidential race. The Electoral College up to 183 for Governor Mitt Romney, 172 for President Barack Obama. Guys, John Owens, Greg Jacobs, Thomas McConnell joining me now. Guys, it is a very, very tight race. We are looking at what really could be a long night in some of these states. Florida still hasn't been called. Ohio still hasn't been called. A lot of these key battleground states, we could be here for quite some time, Greg.
Yeah, exactly. And looking at, I'm kind of going back to Ohio right now because this is a big key factor in this election. Right now, Ohio, 66% is reported, and it is still leaning toward Obama.
We're getting some word right now that California just went through. Of course, California just closed at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, so added another 55.
So exactly. Yep.
So
Now it's 240.
we're hearing at 244.
So now it's 243 to 192.
Okay.
Exactly. It actually just went through.
And I mean, that was the state that President Obama and his campaign have been waiting on all night.
Yep.
California, a Democratic stronghold. But continue, Greg, again.
Okay, yep. And Washington was actually another one that just went through as well. So now we have Washington and California added onto that. That brings Obama up to 243 and Romney to 192 for electoral votes. Ohio, Obama's up just by a little bit, 50 to 48, I think it was, and they only have 66% reported. And I'll hand it off to you guys.
Yeah. John, you have something to say real quick?
Yes, North Carolina has just been called by the AP. That is going to go to Governor Romney.
Governor Romney taking Tar Heel State.
That one has just come through. Also, very close races in Virginia, 50 to 49. Governor Romney leads in Virginia right now, 76% of the voting in, but only 24,000 votes separate Governor Romney and President Obama in that one. North Carolina, as we said, has been called for Governor Romney, according to the Associated Press. Florida, President Obama has a slight lead, 50 to 49 in there right now. 36,000 votes separate them there. You could be seeing a recount in Florida, like I saw in Ohio, which is extremely close right now as well, has a ton of absentee ballots. And the absentee ballot factor could be part of Ohio, along with those provisional ballots that we saw in Ohio because of their voter ID law. If there was an issue with your registration, if your address didn't match up, people cast provisional ballots in Ohio in this election. And what that led to was people, their votes will not be counted. Those provisional ballots will not be counted for at least a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So Ohio might be up in the air for weeks to come if the election stays this close in Ohio. And in Pennsylvania, we touched on it, Rob McCord wins a second term as state treasurer. Kathleen Kane is the first woman and Democrat elected state attorney general. Eugene DePasquale now, it has been called, he will be the auditor general of Pennsylvania. He replaces Jack Wagner, who reached his term limit.
I think one of the other big things we need to talk about tonight, of course, is exactly how things are, we've talked about a little bit earlier, how things are shaping up in this state. And Pennsylvania, guys, leaning very Democratic tonight. We've seen President Obama take Pennsylvania. Bob Casey won re-election. Kathleen Kane, Rob McCord winning their state races. DePasquale, he won as well. The Democrats really, is this state, it used to be considered a toss-up state. Is Pennsylvania considered a battleground toss-up state anymore, Greg?
I don't know. I was actually really surprised, and even if you, from what I thought when we first came here tonight and what we're seeing right now, Pennsylvania is going very Democratic right now.
Thomas, what do you think? I mean, as far as Pennsylvania becoming, is it more of a Democratic stronghold over the last, say, 4 years? I mean, we see this President Obama's won the state both times he's campaigned, he's been running for president. Give us your thoughts here on Pennsylvania being a Democratic state.
Well, I think you got to take in the factor that Pennsylvania is a big union state, and a lot of union pushes go towards the Democratic side for the majority of the time. But it is interesting because you have a Republican governor and state Congress, but then you have all of these national elections going blue. But people say that because primarily Republicans are a little bit better voters when primary comes, so it's easier to see why sometimes the local races go red instead of blue, while the national races go blue. But I think it's going to be interesting to see if this is a continuing trend with Pennsylvania. Because like you said, Bush had a hard time with PA, and now it looks like every Democrat, president and other national politicians, are also going to have their problems with Pennsylvania. So they're going to need to work hard on maybe looking to the coal like Romney did, maybe doing more like that, because like I know Dr. Lau.
Focus on the issues that matter in this state rather than national issues.
Yeah, so
John,
it's going to be interesting.
John, give us your thought here on Pennsylvania being Democratic, and do you have any new information here on some of these battleground states?
Nothing right now. It's the battleground states. A couple states just called. I'll touch on them in just a second. But when we talk about Pennsylvania right now, Matt, and we look at Pennsylvania as a whole, Right now, you have a Republican governor, you have a Republican Senate, and you have a Republican House of Representatives. So many people look at that, the state as a red state in that regard. Okay, but the state's a blue state when it comes to presidential elections. For the past several presidential elections, it has gone to the Democratic candidate. So it's very interesting. But 2 years ago, you saw something here in Pennsylvania, Matt. You saw Pat Toomey get elected senator. You saw Tom Corbett get elected governor, and you saw the Republicans take control of the House of Representatives, and they maintain control of the Senate. Okay, so Republican control basically dominated Pennsylvania for the past 2 years. Right now you see, however, the first Democrat elected Attorney General, you see an Auditor General elected that's a Democrat, and you see a State Treasurer re-elected that's a Democrat. I want to pay attention to, and we'll see this tomorrow as many of the results come in, some of these House races where incumbent Republicans have challengers, because it seems like Republicans have lost some of their popularity in Pennsylvania over the past couple of years, and you could see that in the approval rating of some of the high-ranking Pennsylvania officials.
Plenty of results coming in here for some of these key battleground states tonight. We'll be following Ohio and Florida. I was talking to Professor Lyle in between the break, and he brought up a good point, the fact that a lot of these counties in Florida right now have been decided. 92% of the precincts reporting in Florida. It looks like it will go to President Obama. A lot of the heavily populated counties, Pinellas, Miami-Dade, a lot of these counties already decided. Miami-Dade going towards for President Obama. So there's a lot of certainty in that state. We're just waiting on some of the final numbers so we can call Florida, but we're not quite there yet. A lot of states still too close to call at this point. Ohio as well, Virginia, we're still waiting on, as John mentioned, really a percentage point difference in that state. So we're waiting on some of these results, but we're going to head to break.
And
Mike Friend will be...
Romney actually just won Missouri.
Romney just won Missouri.
Romney just won Missouri, and George Allen won Virginia for Senate. So that is not good for Romney at this point.
No, again, if there's any sort of a sign, that is one of them for Virginia. But we're going to head to break. Mike Friend will be back with his team of analysts to give you more in-depth analysis. Stay tuned.
So, are you going out tonight? I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
That's low. That's low. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
Can't find your one-of-a-kind ingredient? Looking to challenge your appetite with exotic flavor? Your search ends at 6th and Maine's unique array of groceries and ingredients. Specializing in the not-so-widely available, 6th and Main is Clarion's supplier of the striking tastes that shape a stylish palate. With their varied styles and unmatched selection, 6th and Main has got the taste you have only dreamt about. Let your taste run wild at 6th and
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
All right, folks, welcome back to America Votes 2012 here. We just have some late breaking news. President Obama has won the state of Iowa. I'm not sure about the numbers yet, but it's looking as though President Obama is inching closer to that magic number of 269 votes. Right now, guys, we're going to take a look at that. We're going to start with Aaron. Aaron, really, we're not going to call it yet. It's too soon to call, but what do you see the trend being right now? I know you've been looking at the numbers all night online.
From what it's showing, I think Florida is going Obama, Ohio's going Obama, and I think Oregon is going Obama as well. So I think with those magic states, I think Obama will have it for the rest of the night, but it's too early to call, so we'll see as it comes in.
Nick, you look a little happy there. Really, what do you see? Do you agree with Aaron? Do you think think it's going to turn out the rest of these states are really close, going to turn out to be blue, or you think the state's going to turn red on us?
There might be some states that turn red, but Ohio is going to go Obama. Florida is going to go Obama. Colorado is going to go Obama. Oregon
has gone Obama.
Has gone Obama. And Oregon, if it hasn't gone already, it's going to go Obama. Right now we're sitting at a place where any combination of those states is going to give us the magic number, and I'm pretty excited that we're not going to have to be up super duper late tonight trying to sort out who the winner is. It's getting clearer and clearer. I'm not willing to say yet who the clear victor is, because as soon as I say that, my guy loses. But
definitely, Dylan. Really, what's your take on this race thus far into the evening? How tight it's been, and then all of a sudden California comes in, and it's just snap of a finger, quick the change. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion on that is, why is everybody really that surprised? I mean, I know it was very close, but ever since about Ronald Reagan, California's been very solidly blue. It's always been a pretty solid 50-some-odd electoral votes that go Democrat every time. It's almost about as safe as Washington, D.C., which is also very safe Democrat. And so I know that the numbers were close all night, but it's like, unless Romney started taking off, I didn't think that this is a close race at all. The entire West Coast is very solidly blue. Washington, California, Oregon. And so I knew those votes were coming at one point or another. I'm just not sure why anybody would think differently.
All right, folks, I've got people in my ear right now telling me that 90% of the precincts in Florida are reporting Obama leads by 1 point. So that's, again, if Obama wins Florida, it could be over, but we don't know. Again, we only have 90% of those precincts, so we want to hear that. So really, we're going to keep an eye on that. But guys, we're going to get into something more of a state level here. Really, every 10 years, because with the census, they redistrict. Pennsylvania, as we talked about, Mike Kelly's district expanding a lot. What used to be the 4th is now the 12th district. Really tight race there between Mark Kritz and Keith Rothfuss. Gerrymandering, I mean, really, have you seen that in this state? Taking a look at this, Dylan, what do you think about the redistricting in the state of Pennsylvania? Do you think it's really an example of gerrymandering?
Well, gerrymandering reminds me a lot of like magnets. How does it work? But I mean, seriously, it's just, the problem was that you had a Republican governor, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate. There was obviously certain degrees of gerrymandering. I don't think it's like so hardcore that we actually have a salamander shape contained within the state, as we had seen when this concept was initiated, but it's definitely, if you look at the map, it looks pretty, like there are some parts where, yes, it was slightly bipartisan, because you can't go 100% partisan, because then you get people crying foul and challenging you in court. But I would say with some of the ways that they, expanded GT, the way they, bent, Mike Kelly, they definitely tried to make some seats safer than possible, so.
All right, folks, we got some late breaking news. We're going to go back to our news desk here with Matt Knoedler. Matt, we got some breaking news. What is it, buddy?
Mike, we're getting word in right now. President Obama has won Ohio. We have heard some reports that he has now won the election. We're trying to get confirmation on this right now. Guys, early thoughts here. President Obama winning Ohio. What do you think?
The maps that I'm looking at right now, that he won Ohio and Iowa both, So that, from what I know of, that would make it mathematically impossible for Romney to win because, Oregon
Give us the
and Nevada are
electoral total right now. Where are we at?
the electoral total I see right now, this is without Iowa, 261 to 202.
How many votes would Iowa have?
So Iowa, what is Iowa?
Iowa,
is it 9?
Iowa is 6 votes.
Iowa's 6.
Or Ohio would be 18 votes,
Well,
so that would be 24 votes on top of
Ohio's already considered.
243.
So that means if Iowa's 6 votes, then that's
So that would put 'em at
267 to 202.
267,
And
yes, to
the
202.
map that I'm looking at right now does not have Oregon yet, and was Oregon already declared an Obama victory?
Oregon
Get some final results.
was... no, Oregon was not declared yet. Oregon, I'm sorry, I'm loading right now. Only 40% is reported right now. Obama is in the lead with 59%, Romney at 38%. So it's not looking good for Romney with Oregon as well.
But right now, if Oregon goes the way of President Obama, then he is reelected to a second term as President of the United States. But Matt, we really do need to be careful here.
We're hearing that President Obama has won a second term as President of the United States. We're hearing this officially here. NBC has reported it right now that President Obama has won re-election. CNN and CBS as well, they have all reported that President Obama has won re-election and will win a second term as President of the United States. Mike Friend has some numbers right now. Mike joins us here in the studio with more. Mike.
All right, thank you, Matt. Taking a look here, as you said, CBS, NBC both having the numbers. President Obama winning the state of Ohio, gaining those 18 electoral votes, and Oregon, which put him at, the latest count we have is 270 votes, which is what guarantees you victory here. Folks, right now we're going to go ask our analysts here what they think. As we talked about this race really all night and how tight it can come down. Dylan, thoughts on the race, thoughts on President Obama, really this tough 2-year campaign really coming down close to the wire here.
I knew it was going to come down to the wire and it was going to get a little close, but I think it ultimately ended up a lot closer than I thought. A lot of that can be attributed to, Mitt Romney kind of really dominating that first debate. But ever since then, Paul Ryan didn't really, he didn't do poorly, but he didn't do excellently in the VP debate. Mitt Romney didn't make a name for himself in the town hall debate, and he didn't make a name for himself in the foreign policy debate. He actually spent a lot of that debate agreeing with Barack Obama and not really differentiating himself. The problem was he didn't carry that momentum from that first debate, and that allowed Barack Obama to bounce back. Mitt Romney didn't kind of end it when he needed to. He didn't finish what he needed to in order to get the win. And so it's not surprising with how many ads, Barack Obama runs in Ohio, how solid the West Coast is, how solid New England is, and, Florida, is still pretty much a toss-up at this point, but could very easily go Barack Obama. Problem was that Mitt Romney back in the primary season, let Barack Obama kind of define him, and he didn't define himself. And because of that, I don't want to say he never stood a chance, but he definitely started way too far behind to actually win this election.
Folks, we actually have some information here, a little bit of a fun fact, if you will. The official call time, as NBC is saying it, is 11:12, and they said it's taken President Obama exactly 12 minutes longer to win than he did in 2008. So a little fun fact there, but President Obama really, in this election, coming with a fairly clear victory early in the evening as well in 2008. So, Aaron, your thoughts on this? Aaron, real quick, what are your thoughts on what Mitt Romney did wrong? Then we're going to go ahead and throw it back to Matt.
Mitt Romney wasn't able to up his personality factor. He wasn't able to connect with the majority of the voters. A lot of them saw him as a rich white guy, and just a lot of people found it hard to connect to that because a lot is middle class and they don't have the privileges he had, so it was just hard to connect with the average voter.
All right, Matt's got some breaking information for us down back at the news desk, folks. We're going to send it to him right now. Matt, what do you have for us now?
All right, thanks, Mike. And again, we're taking a look. President Obama, again, as we said, is declared the winner of the 2012 presidential election, defeating Mitt Romney. The current tally, again, Florida hasn't even been called yet. We're taking a look at a lot of these states, these supposed swing states, not even playing a factor right now, guys. We take a look, Florida, Colorado, Virginia, has not been called yet. But let's take a look at the popular vote. Greg, we'll start with you. Taking a look at the popular vote, right now, Governor Romney leads the popular vote by over 1 million votes, but you think it may not last that long.
Yep. Right now, Romney has it by a little over 1 million votes, just like you said. But once you take into consideration Nevada, Colorado, Virginia, and Florida, it will most likely balance out. And I feel like Obama will end up with the higher popular vote, especially with Florida. How about, what do you guys think?
Tom, give us your thoughts here. Tom and John Owens, give us your thoughts. Again, President Obama winning re-election. This means a lot. This means that the president's health care plan, Obamacare, as some have called it, that will be upheld. That means that a lot of the Wall Street reform will likely be upheld. Everything is pretty much staying the same tonight. We've seen the House stay in Republican hands, the Senate likely to remain in Democratic hands. President Obama winning re-election. How much is going to be different coming up?
Well, I think that Barack Obama will have a lot more, even though he did have the 2 years of Democratic Congress, he will have a lot more flexibility to do kind of more of his, some of the things he didn't get done, maybe cap and trade, some other things that kind of got lost in the squabbles after the Congress went back to the Republican. But I think he will have more flexibility with, he's not going to have to worry about getting reelected again. He can do some more of maybe his progressive policies, and I think we're going to see a lot of the same that we did in the first 2 years of his presidency.
John Owens, give us your thoughts here again. A lot of the things President Obama, obviously the things he passed in the first term, likely to stay in place in the second term. How much is going to change? And give us your thoughts here on this announcement. Of course, President Obama winning re-election.
Well, one thing I want to point out, Matt, and I don't want to be the throwing out all different wild scenarios, but 2000 came around and all the networks called Florida for Gore, and Al Gore was president-elect, and then everything changed. The one thing we really need to consider in Ohio is these provisional ballots, and if that were to come in to be a factor very late in this one, and the final vote tallies come very close, then maybe the networks will take back their calling of Ohio. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Obviously, right now, projected the winner is President Obama. Now, you look at the next 4 years under an Obama administration, one thing I see is the fact that there's going to have to be some compromise if things are going to be able to get done. The approval rating of Congress, very low right now, and you're still going to have a Republican-dominated House, and the Democrats will not hold the supermajority in the Senate either. They won't have the 60 votes. So I do think you're going to have to see people working together across the aisle. Now, not facing a re-election campaign, does that mean that Obama is able to go ahead with his agenda a little bit more, do some things he wasn't planning on that he couldn't get done in the first term? It's all a possibility, but I think it does hinge a lot on Congress. They're a big player in this, and we'll have to see what happens. A lot of stuff that needs to get done over the next couple of years.
We heard a lot of people say that, that they wanted something different, that Governor Romney was their person. A lot of these Republicans across the country hoping that, we talked about Richard Murdoch, how people thought he was going to win in Indiana, Todd Akin in Missouri. They all lost tonight, guys. Explain. Is there, a lack of trust in some of these Republicans, or is it perhaps the gaffes that are getting them, Greg?
I honestly don't know. I just like everybody else. I seriously thought that they were gonna win and they were gonna pull it off. I honestly don't know what to say. Do you guys?
Tom, give us your thoughts here. I mean, really taking a look. Like I say, we talk about, is there a lack of trust in Republicans, or is it perhaps just these certain candidates that aren't doing the job and appealing to the conservative base?
I honestly think that, a couple of the Senate races, I do think the gas really did hurt them quite a bit, and I think that's why we see Missouri, the Missouri Senate going blue, and the Indiana Senate went blue, correct? The other, Murdoch, is that where Murdoch was Indiana? And I think the gas did hurt them there. But I think the idealism with Barack Obama was, he's a nice guy. Let's let his policies take place. Let's see what another 4 years can do. I think he can do it, and let's just see what he can do. Let's give him another 4 years, another chance to do what he thinks is best for the country. I don't think it's a distrust. I just think it's.
John Owens, final thoughts here on really perhaps, is there a lack of trust against these conservatives, these Republicans, or perhaps is it just the candidates themselves that are hurting the party?
one thing I noticed, Matt, was this. It didn't seem like Republicans were into their candidate until after that first debate, and that was part of the problem. They didn't necessarily have somebody that appealed to the base that got them excited, and it was after that first debate that this election got a lot closer. Okay, so that's one of the factors here. Looking ahead to 2016, it's going to be very interesting to see what the field looks like. Finally, I do think the economy was the major thing. The jobs numbers look better the past 2 months. Some people were more optimistic about the economy, and that definitely shaped this race. I said a long time ago during the summer, those jobs numbers in October are going to be a major factor in this election. If people think we're going in the right direction, then it helps Obama. If those job numbers look bad, then it does help Governor Romney in this race. Obviously, the numbers look good. That helped the president. We still have a large turnout. I think the popular vote's going to be rather close, but obviously looks like he gets the win in the Electoral College tonight.
It's going to be interesting to see exactly, as you mentioned, what happens in the president's second term. We're going to go ahead and go to commercial now. When we come back, we'll go to Mike and his team of analysts to give us their thoughts on exactly the night's results and what they think is going to come up really in President Obama's second term. We'll have that and more coming up on America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City
I'd like to
over
get on the
here.
green screen soon. and
Yeah,
kind of
I noticed
break-
that.
I
It
mean,
looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Yo, check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those pants.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, and this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Danse, balance sur la cadence. On devient tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou, ton
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
At Sheetz, your favorite meal on the go is just a touch away. The MTO, or made-to-order menu, is the perfect way to quickly get food that will satisfy any craving. Don't worry about trying to decide which fast food restaurant will satisfy your taste. Sheet's wide variety of choices and simple ordering system makes the decision easy. For those especially hectic days when time is at a premium, Sheetz also offers the MTO to-go case with quick grabs. Sheetz is conveniently located at 1281 East Main Street in Clarion.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Folks, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. One report says Ohio may have been called prematurely. We're trying to get facts on that. But right now we're going to operate as though President Obama did win Ohio. And we're going to go to Dylan. Dylan, what do you think President Obama is going to try to do in his next 4 years if he is indeed the president-elect?
I'm going to say, first thing he's got to do is get through this lame duck Congress, and they've got to work out this fiscal cliff. The fiscal cliff could really cut down on any of the economic gains we've been making. It'll make us, have a hard time operating overseas, within our own country. We need to get work done first. here. Obama's probably got some plans. I can't 100% say for certain. I'm sure he's going to try to work for some kind of shift towards more green energy. I don't know if that's necessarily a cap and trade. It's probably not going to be another Salyendra, but I feel like he's going to be trying to making some shifts towards wind energy, which some people think might be the future. We'll probably focus some on natural gas, but trying to make a better way than the fracking that we do right now. You know, more energy independence, which was something both him and Mitt Romney agreed upon. He's probably going to try to cut down a little bit foreign policy-wise, at least in terms of spending. Everybody knows that our spending has gotten a little bit out of control as far as defense goes. While we still need to be strong in our defense, we can't be going overboard like we have. You know, Admiral Mike McMullen had said that our debt is the biggest threat to our national security. And so I feel like those are some very important issues that Obama will address in his second term.
All right, Nick, really, President Obama moving forward to 2016. Do you think he'll be able to expand on some of these policies that he talked about in his first couple of years in office that were quote-unquote 8-year plans? What do you think he's going to really work for in his next 4 years in office?
Well, like any president that wins re-election, we're looking at a president that doesn't have to worry about another re-election, so he can really focus on things that he wasn't able to do in the last 4 years. I hope, and he has said in different reports that he's going to work to expand more equal rights for women, more equal rights for the LGBTQ community. I look forward to those social progressions towards a more equal America, and he's laid out what he plans to do. The economy, the different stimulus packages that he's proposed, that he's enacted, the way that he has brought a out of control, spiraling towards death economy back from the brink to a point where we can even say that 8%. You know, he said it's doing fine. He took a lot of heat for that, but really, compared to 15%, compared to 16%, we have half that. And he added over the last 4 years 320,000 jobs. That's pretty impressive, and I hope that those same economic policies come into play the next 4 years.
Aaron, your thoughts on what President Obama looks to do going forward? He presented a lot of options, really, in the debates, in the campaign. What promises do you really think he's going to come through on and really work towards? He talked about really an auto bailout, or saving the economy. What else do you think he's going to try to work on in his next term?
He's definitely going to work on the economy because that's such a big issue. But you might be coming around because even though unemployment is at 8%, there might just be more people starting to look for work again and just haven't gotten employed. Another thing, I don't know if I don't agree with Nick as much. I don't know if social issues will be addressed as much just because there's not a majority, like the Republicans have a majority and the Democrats don't even have the 60. So I don't think it'll pass in Congress to even be addressed. So it might come up, but I don't know if it'll go further than that.
Dylan, I'm going to ask you, really, President Obama being one of the first presidents to come out and say he does support gay marriage, big issue brought up in that. Cover magazines called him our quote-unquote first gay president. Now, back in the 90s when Bill Clinton was president, he really came out for equal rights for African Americans. Magazine said he's the first quote-unquote black president. That being said, do you think President, Nick and Aaron talked about, do you think President Obama really will try to go forward with the gay rights, LGBTQ issues, or do you think he'll really start to focus on the economy, at least in the first 2 years?
For the first 2 years, I definitely think he's going to be going a little bit harder on the economy. As Aaron said, he doesn't have the majorities in the House and Senate that he needs to work on social issues. That's just not a thing. But where he can, if he chooses to focus on it, involves being in the court system, challenging things like DOMA, challenging things like constitutional amendments that are being made to state constitutions. Those are things that he and the Justice Department can go after if he wants to focus on social issues. It'll be about the only place that he will be able to focus on social issues. If in 2 years, Congress somehow swings back Democratic, we might be looking at a different story. But at least for these first 2 years, he's going to be focusing all policy, all economy, because right now that's what they're reelecting him to do, is to fix this economy, because we all know that's the number one issue right now.
All right, Nick, really some big issues during the first term of the president. Obviously, the bailout of the banking industry, the overturning of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Do you think any of these long-standing issues and problems and policies will fall in these next 4 years and kind of be a milestone in this next Obama presidency?
Oh, those that you mentioned, those are definitely milestones. I count those as successes. Other people disagree. I think the numbers tend to agree with my and the president's viewpoint on the issue. Where we see things going on, I don't think that we're at a point where our economy needs a direct hand in it like it needed during the bailouts, during the saving the banks. I mean, we need a banking system. Ever since Alexander Hamilton first pioneered the banking system, it's been pretty obvious that it's hard to function a good economy without a banking system in place. So those were all great policies, and I hope that he continues to have the middle class first policies, which he has. I hope that he keeps his word this time about getting rid of the Bush era tax cuts, at least on the wealthy, especially on the wealthy, not even at least on the wealthy, because only on the wealthy should be paying more taxes, and that's the bottom line. And Obama knows that, and I hope that that's one of his promises, and I hope he keeps it.
All right, Nick Ross and Aaron Krasinski and Dylan Christofek really talking as if President Obama has won. That's the projection. We may have conflicting reports of that. Folks, we're going to send it to another commercial break here on America Votes 2012. When we come back, Matt Knoedler and I will break down some of the battleground states that have fallen since the last time we talked. Keep it here on CUTV and 91.7 WCUC-FM.
So, are you going out tonight? I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work. That's so gay. Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
That's low. That's low. Look, he's blushing.
Can't find your one-of-a-kind ingredient? Looking to challenge your appetite with exotic flavor? Your search ends at 6th and Main's unique array of groceries and ingredients. Specializing in the not-so-widely available, 6th and Main is Clarion's supplier of the striking tastes that shape a stylish palate. With their varied styles and unmatched selection, 6th and Main has got the taste you have only dreamt about. Let your taste run wild at 6th and Main.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC. Matt Knoedler here, Mike Friend. Mike, it has been we have some new information on Ohio.
We do.
We'll start there.
We have reports from our fact checkers. Everybody over there is doing a great job. Right now, we have 2 reports. Ohio has been called in favor of President Obama, therefore officially giving him a victory. CBS also projects that Obama will take the state of Nevada, therefore giving him. All right. ABC and Fox right now have it tied. Ohio, that is, tied at 49% to 49%. ABC that had projected Obama as the winner. So, folks, we're still not that sure about Ohio. It's really going to be a close one there. Right now, we're taking a look at that state right now. And really, as you see, take a look at the numbers here, Matt.
We'll step away for just a moment.
What they say, they have 48, our fact checkers have 48% to 50. Again, Obama, the projected winner. This is just a projection, folks, and merely that while we're speculating.
One of the things that one of the things I want to focus on for Ohio, some of the big counties, as we talked about earlier, when we talked about the battleground states, Hamilton and Cuyahoga counties. That is where Cincinnati and Cleveland are respectively. You take a look at Hamilton County, only 35% of the precincts reporting in Hamilton County in Ohio, 53% of those votes going towards President Obama. In Cuyahoga County, 44% of the precincts reporting, and that also going to President Obama. And so Ohio, again, has been called for President Obama, but we're talking about some possible provisional ballots that won't necessarily be counted for at least another week. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens in Ohio. We take a look at Florida coming up now, Mike, and this one is still too close to call.
And right now, folks, you see, taking a look at our numbers here, 50% for Obama, 49% for Mitt Romney. Again, too close to call, as Matt said. Really, projected winner is to be President Obama. I've talked to my sources down there. We have the state leaning a little more blue than a lot of people and the big media organizations may think. But still, here at CTV, our sources down in Florida say that President Obama is more likely going to win that state. So even if he does lose Ohio, he seems to have Florida in his pocket, still giving him the presidency, Matt.
When you take a look at the county-by-county breakdown in Florida, a lot of the heavily populated counties have gone for President Obama, one of those being Miami-Dade County. So that's what we're looking at right now in Florida. That's how we can make this projection that Florida will go towards President Obama. But again, we're talking 1%. It's safe to say that it's for President Obama, and you see a lot of people right now celebrating the president's victory in Times Square. We're seeing, we're talking thousands of people here in New York City. And the president really, again, has been, we're still saying Ohio will go to President Obama, which of course puts him over the 270 electoral vote mark. We're talking 275 electoral votes at this point.
And Matt, really, it's coming down to the wire here. Reports saying only about 79, they're saying right now about 82% of Ohio has reported right now. So precincts, again, still maybe a little too close to call, but Ohio, I'm going to go ahead and say it's safe to say that President Obama has won. Like you talked about, Hamilton and Cuyahoga counties both going in favor of the president.
One of the other big swing states tonight we have focused on is Virginia. As we take a look, we'll step away for just a moment. 51% for President Obama to 48% for Governor Romney. This has been a big state all night, Mike, and we've talked about exactly how is it going to go. We've seen Governor Bob McDonnell. He has endorsed Governor Romney, been on the trail for him, stumped for him in that state. Been really, as we talked about, a huge surrogate for him in that state. President Obama still coming away with the victory tonight, Mike.
And really, again, we talked about and mentioned earlier in the program, the Washington, D.C. suburbs. Really, Washington, D.C. has, since they've been allowed to vote and had electoral votes, they have never voted Republican. Always been Democratic. Therefore, those suburbs start to extend down into Virginia, places like Alexandria and stuff like that. Really, those exurbs of the city have started becoming, and that's why President Obama was really able to come back and really doing that, winning the state of Virginia. Very tight race there.
So we saw Maryland go Democratic early on. Its neighbor, Virginia, again, going Democratic tonight. Some of the bigger states we have talked about, or some of the smaller states electorally anyway, but with a big implication if you win a bunch of them. One of these is Iowa, and we're going to take a look now. Mitt Romney winning Iowa 58-42 tonight. The Hawkeye State, again, going for Governor Romney. We talk about, again, a 16-point spread here. This is really a pretty big victory here for Governor Romney tonight, Mike. And we take a look again. The Midwest. We've seen a few states in the Midwest go for President Obama, but not a big surpriser.
And really, again, the state of Iowa, really not surprising. Really, he's polled while they are. And back in 2008, he really did well over against Hillary Clinton and his other opponents there. So no surprise that they loved President Obama out in Iowa. And Matt, really, President Obama winning, and where it counts, and to use a baseball term here, he was hitting them where they weren't, and so really the president doing a good job campaigning in this election season.
Our last state here for the night, actually, again, we're with you here till midnight. The last state we're going to look at here tonight, take a look, is New Hampshire, and President Obama winning the Granite State 55-44 over Governor Romney. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, so this has been projected for a little bit, but we talk about the fact that Governor Romney, has a home in this state. He was governor of neighboring Massachusetts. New England, traditionally Democratic, and you're seeing that here tonight in New Hampshire. But we're going to go to break here. We're going to have Jillian Hartman back with our social media report, and we're going to tie that in real quick. We're going to tie that in with Professor Jim Lyle and our faculty segment, so we can get one last wrap up on some final numbers here for tonight. So stay tuned. This is America Votes 2012.
The first day stepping on the court, I couldn't keep up. That motivated me to step up my game. When I reach a goal, I set a new one the next day. And my next goal is to go to college. Mastering the court takes persistence. So does getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Do you like this top? So gay.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally gay.
You really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Longing for a unique taste and a relaxed atmosphere? Look no further than 6th and Main Market in downtown Clarion. With a menu to satisfy a chic palate, 6th and Main has a taste of the Strip District without the long drive home. Accompanying the food is a complement of gourmet sodas and ice creams, a fully stocked deli, delicious breads, and delectable desserts. 6th and Main offers dine-in service with a relaxed atmosphere, which will leave a distinct impression.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Welcome back to America Votes 2012 here on CUTV and WCUC. Matt Knoedler here, Mike Friend, and joining us now we have Clarion University Communication Professor Jim Lyle and Jillian Hartman here joining us, of course, from CUTV's Entertainment Lately. She's giving us the social media feed here for tonight. And Jill, Twitter has to be blowing up here over this announcement. Give us the update.
Facebook and Twitter is
Both
blowing up my newsfeed with angry Romney supporters.
A lot of people are claiming they're going to be moving to Italy or Canada.
Moving out of the country.
Yes.
Okay.
One person quoted, "I hear all the U.S. Airways international flights have been booked already." Also, Mayans were right, the world is coming to an end. So a lot of Romney supporters are very angry. Also, Donald Trump tweeted, "He lost the popular vote by a lot and won the election. We should have a revolution in this country." Obviously, he's against Obama. And I actually looked at the stats just a minute ago, and Obama has 44.3 million votes as Romney has 44.5. So obviously Romney was going towards that. And Obama actually tweeted that this happened because of you, thanking all his supporters. And he also mentioned, "We're all in this together. That's how we campaign, and that's how we are as a country." So obviously Obama and everyone else Democratic is very happy about this.
You know, Jill, I always find it funny, you brought it up, the people claiming they're moving to another country.
Yes.
And still, the economy has downgraded a little bit, but people still, they've lived here for the past 4 years under President Obama. And I would really like to ask them, and if you see on Twitter people from the Obama camp and people's supporters saying, "Listen, it hasn't been that bad for you. You still live in the United States of America. Man up," basically. Have you seen that?
Obviously, they're overreacting a little bit. I mean, the news just came in a minute ago. So obviously, Facebook and Twitter users, they're obviously shocked about this because they didn't think the results would come out so quickly. As we know, Florida might take, all the way to 2 a.m. to count all the votes. But actually, an interesting fact, with 20 million tweets, Election Day has become the most tweeted about event in U.S. political history.
Mr. Lau, we'll take a look at exactly, we talked about Ohio, how close it was. Some of these counties, we talk about the provisional ballots, we might not see those for another week.
Well, that's true, but I think...
it won't make a difference necessarily, but again, does it matter if you're a voter there to say your voice may not be heard, it may not count?
It's going to be heard. Mm-hmm. If it's really close, there's going to be people saying that we need to have a recount in various states. Some states have percentage triggers such that if it's within 0.5%, a recount automatically occurs. Other times you got to go to the courts or simply ask for a recount. My guess is that there will be a recount. The fact that the likes of Karl Rove have already come out on Fox and tried to back off on some of the Ohio stuff just indicates that it's going to happen. The reality is that these two hate each other with every ounce of their being, and they're going to, whoever loses is going to fight to the death, is my expectation. Now that said, I don't really think the numbers are going to be that close. Most of the outstanding counties in Florida and Ohio are more Democratic. Obama has already passed Romney in Virginia, and there's no reason to believe that he's looking back in that state. A lot of analysts are projecting that Obama's going to win safely in the popular vote, and end of the day, Nate Silver.
Well, it's very close with 44.3 and 44.5 million.
We have time for one last question, real quick, Jim. What do you expect in the second term now that President Obama?
I don't think the second. I don't even think we can get to the second term yet, because the reality is, come Tuesday, there's important business to deal with, and that is the fiscal cliff, meaning that if we do not get a deficit deal done before the end of the month, there will be automatic budget sequestration that both sides say is fairly devastating. Now, there were a lot of analysts saying, Romney win, you can kick the can down the road until you have a new Congress, that they'd sort of do extensions, but I think that's going to happen. Luckily for Obama, he's probably going to win the popular vote. He won some key states which could reaffirm the mandate. I think if it was a really, 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 really close election that went until tomorrow and, it wasn't a popular vote with the electoral, I think that could be brutal.
All right, again, we're going to head to one last break here on CTV and WCC. We'll be right back with some final thoughts. Stay tuned.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. Check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're gonna be hanging out a little